comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Popcast. I am DK Wrestler.
And I am MD Shady.
And today we have a lot of Funko Pops to talk about. Today actually is July 1st as we are recording this, which of course to us Canadians, it is Canada Day. So happy Canada Day to all of our fellow Canadians, even though it will be at least a week later when you guys will be listening to this podcast. But yes, we have a lot of Funko Pops to talk about, which include day one of Popapalooza Reveals. And then, of course, day two's Popapalooza Reveals are actually being announced basically every hour as we are recording this podcast. And those will be on our 99th episode next week on a Funko Popcast. And speaking of episode 100 that happens 2 weeks from today's podcast release, it will be on the FunCon 2021 reveals, which we're super excited to see what these reveals have, whether it's some that we actually like or some that we don't like potentially. So pretty pumped for that, even though I'd rather call it San Diego Comic-Con reveals. It is FunCon reveals this year, which without further ado, we might as well kick off with the non-Popapalooza reveals that range from June 24th up until June 28th, which kicking off June 24th, Best Buy had announced their own exclusive pop of Barry Sanders from the Detroit Lions NFL team, which this Funko Pop is free when you pre-order the upcoming Madden 22 video game at Best Buy stores. Of course, I can see this only being Best Buy in the US. June 25th, Funko had announced two variants of the character Sylvie for the Low-Key series, which we have a common variant and then a glow-in-the-dark variant that will be exclusive to Walmart, and that is expected to release as early as August 2021. On that same day, Showcase here in Canada had announced their own exclusive pop of an Imperial Superman, which this is available for pre-order on Showcase's website right now and is expected to release as early as September 2021. Then on Saturday, June 26th, Funko had announced, or actually I should say Entertainment Earth had announced their own exclusive Funko Pop of a Diamond Collection Stitch with ukulele from the Lilo and Stitch lineup, which this is available for pre-order now and it's expected to release as early as August 2021. Then going to Monday, June 28th, Funko had re-announced the Dragon Ball Z lineup that was previously announced at Funko Fair 2021, but had announced a new pop for this set, and that is a Majin Buu with ice cream that will be a part of a Pop and Tea bundle exclusive to EB Games here in Canada and GameStop in the US, which that is expected to release as early as August 2021. On that same day, Funko had announced a D-Generation X Triple H Pop and Pin bundle for the WWE lineup, which this is also going to be exclusive to EB Games here in Canada and GameStop in the US, which this is expected to release as early as August 2021. Once again, on that same day, Funko had announced a classic variant of Hawkeye, which this is going to be a previews exclusive and once again will be expected to release as early as August 2021. On that same day, yet again, Funko had actually announced a set of South Park Pops, a brand new wave, which the set we have here, we have Paladin Butters, Grand Wizard Cartman, High Elf King Kyle, Ranger Stan Marshwalker, and then a PC Principal with South Park Elementary School Pop Town, which those once again are expected to release as early as August 2021. And then the last reveal for the non-Popapalooza reveals and announced on the 28th is two variants of Felix Hernandez for the Everett Aqua Sox, which we have a more common variant, and then we have a 1-in-6 glow-in-the-dark Chase variant, which this pop will be given out at various Aqua Sox home games. So, kicking off with the Barry Sanders Detroit Lions pop, which this isn't too bad of a pop. Funny enough that I was reading over the name Barry Sanders again, and isn't Barry Sanders the name of the guy that ended up getting a meme for himself? Or no, that's Bernie Sanders. Now, as I realize. Okay. Anyways, besides that, this Barry Sanders pop is pretty decent, honestly. I don't know what the hype is like because of the fact it was posted on Best Buy's website and it wasn't posted by Funko on social media platforms or even like, like Best Buy themselves. I don't think posted about this pop. So I don't know what people are thinking of this, but I think I know of Barry Sanders. It's not too bad because it's got that grass platform base. And I'm sure that there are going to be people that definitely are going to want to get this pop, especially if they're excited to get the upcoming Madden 22 game, which for some reason, while looking on Best Buy's website, I couldn't find when it was releasing. So I assume that when the game releases, obviously that's when you get the Funko Pop. The Sylvie for the low key lineup. This is a pretty cool pop. Sylvie was a pretty decent character, and I do like kind of the differences that they made that you can tell that it is the glow in the dark and the common variant. The glow in the dark variant, I think, will turn out pretty decent because, of course, it's green, and green is known to be probably the best color glow in the dark. So I think that'll be pretty cool. And I think it actually sold out in pre orders, if I'm not mistaken, on the Walmart website. So clearly, quite a bit of people are excited for this pop. Then we have the Imperial Superman pop, which I think this pop is metallic. And I will say to anyone that is thinking in their heads right now, wasn't this a like Funko China convention exclusive? Yes, it was. And especially there's also those metallic variants of the original Imperial DC pops. However, we actually couldn't even find the websites that were selling these pops, or at least the legitimate websites in China. So I didn't bother talking about them because assuming that I felt like Funko would have eventually added these to the Funko app and we would have been able to talk about these, but I guess we haven't. So at least Showcase, which I know of the store, of course, because it's a Canadian store, now has this on their website. And obviously, you can easily tell that it was a China exclusive originally because of the sticker that it has on at least the photo that Showcase had provided on their website of the box for this, which I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I feel bad for Superman kind of getting left out here and there while they're showcasing more of like Batman, Joker, Harley Quinn, those kinds of DC characters, while Superman is a pretty cool character. And I think I do like this Imperial pop. I think out of all the ones they may have done, maybe besides, I do like the blue Imperial Batman they did that was exclusive to the Funko shop just as much. But overall, I do think this is one of the better Imperial pops that Funko has made thus far. Diamond Collection Stitch. I guess Entertainment Earth is jumping on Hot Topic's wagon of let's sell some Diamond Collection pops. It seems like clearly they have gone and phased out of those wood deco pops, which I'm not mad about, honestly. They weren't really the greatest in my opinion as it is, but the only reason I'm so mad at this is because Entertainment Earth was teasing San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. They did a whole post about San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, and they were mentioning, oh, just to let you guys know, we're kicking off talking about San Diego Comic-Con exclusives on Saturday, and we're kicking off with our own exclusive Funko Pop, which I felt like I should have expected that they would have done this because they did this sort of thing last year too, but it could have been better as an exclusive. Like we've seen way better Entertainment Earth exclusive reveals. I know there is a bit of hype, but I personally think this was a waste of a pop, honestly. Then we have the Majin Buu with ice creams, the Pop and Tea bundle, which first off, I will say, curious to know what the box is going to be like on this Pop and Tea bundle, but I do like both the pop and the shirt. I'm kind of curious though. I wonder how many scoops of ice cream that Majin Buu has on that ice cream cone, because those are a lot of ice cream scoops to be having on one single cone.
If my count is correct, I believe there are 14 scoops there.
Okay, so according to MD, 14 scoops of ice cream. They're all basically different flavors, which I think is pretty cool. And I guess, if there was 14 different flavors of ice cream at your local ice cream parlor and you couldn't just choose one, you might as well just buy all 14, I guess. This is not too bad. I mean, we've gotten a couple Majin Buus, but I do think, in my opinion, from what I remember and what I've seen of Majin Buu pops, this is one of the better Majin Buu pops. And then we have ourselves Sami Zayn. I mean, DX Triple H. This pop's all right, but like I mentioned, it doesn't really look like Triple H all that much. Like, it's cool that they finally dug into D Generation X, but there could have been so much untapped potential with doing D Generation X. One, there's so many members of DX throughout the years, but I felt like specifically here, this should have been a DX 2 pack where it's Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I just wonder now, will there be just a separate pop of DX Shawn Michaels coming out later on this year? Outfit is pretty cool. This is '09 DX, so it's more of the PG version that not a lot of people enjoy. The Triple H head sculpt is weird because he looks like he has very short hair, but I know he did have a pretty decently big beard at that point. But I felt like what they should have done is either make the hair a bit longer or just tied it back in a ponytail, because Triple H is known for sometimes actually having his hair in a ponytail. Then we got the classic Hawkeye for the Marvel lineup. There's actually a pretty decent amount of hype going towards this pop. I guess there are people out there that actually have wanted a classic Hawkeye pop. I remember seeing someone comment that they never bought a Hawkeye pop knowing that they feel like one day Funko would make a classic version, and they did so here. And I think the colors look pretty cool, honestly, with that like kind of purpley magenta color as the main color with the blue, and then like that orangey yellow crossbow that Hawkeye usually has just standing out with those colors. I think it looks pretty cool, and I think it would be a pretty decent seller, honestly. The new wave of South Park Funko Pops, which I can't remember exactly. They called it a certain like set of South Park. Like, it's from one specific episode, I believe, where these South Park pops. It's called like Stick of Something. I can't exactly remember. I'm sure MD might be able to answer my question since he is a bigger South Park fan than I am. And I know a lot of people were super pumped that Funko finally made a PC Principal pop, and I think it definitely looks awesome too, especially because it's got a mouth, unlike a lot of Funko Pops. It's cool that they did South Park Elementary as a pop town. I think it's cool, and I think PC Principal was, I guess, a perfect candidate to actually add with that school for a pop town. And then we have an Everett Aqua Sox pop. We have Felix Hernandez, or I should say Pops with an S at the end, because there are two technically with the glow in the dark chase. This is okay. I will admit, this is a refresher compared to the amount of Webley Funko Pops that we have been getting at least 3 times in the last month, a new Webley pop. And I guess it's cool that they're adding more than just the mascot for, I guess, the 5 pops that are being given away. And I wonder if this counts as the 4th one, and then they're still going to announce a 5th, or this is 4 and 5 because they're including the chase to go along with this pop, which I felt like the chase really shouldn't even been made, honestly. Like, all that glows in dark is the lettering and the logos on the jersey. I think it was kind of pointless, honestly. It should have been a single pop. I don't think it was really necessary to do just a glow in the dark variant, honestly, for this.
All right. Okay. Starting with Barry Sanders. I think this is cool. No, it is not Bernie Nifty Mittens Sanders. It is Barry Sanders. And this is pretty cool. I think he's very well deserved of a pop, considering a lot of people regard him as the greatest running back of all time. And I think the pop looks good. I mean, it's cool. I like the pops without the helmets. I think that's decent. There's not a whole lot they can do, obviously, but it does make sense that he is more in that running position, obviously, as a running back. So that is cool. Then we have these Loki pops, and I have still yet to watch Loki. I know I should do it, but I just really haven't had the time to do that. But I do think it is cool how they did the glow in the dark version with the green eyes, and I'm kind of more interested to watch the show now because I feel like she's kind of pulling a Luke Skywalker here, going from a blue lightsaber to a green one in Return of the Jedi. So it's kind of interesting. Then we have the Superman, and honestly, I don't really know what to say about this. I knew it looked familiar, so obviously, as it's kind of a re-announcement of a sorts, it's kind of cool, and it kind of gives me hopes for maybe one day seeing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action movie 3, I think it is, pops, where they have their samurai suits. I think that'd be a really interesting set of TMNT pops. And I guess the best thing about this is that sticker that comes on the box. That is a really cool looking sticker. And I honestly might get it just to add one of those stickers to my collection because that's pretty awesome. And then, yes, Entertainment Earth exclusive Diamond Collection Stitch. I guess they are dipping their feet in the water. And this isn't terrible for a Diamond Collection. I've always said since we've been seeing Diamond Collections that I think it should kind of just stick to Disney. Obviously, we've seen a lot of things that definitely should not be Diamond Collection, like, I don't know, for example, Jolteon and Flareon and Vaporeon and just anything else really in general. I'm not a huge fan of Diamond Collection, but I don't think this one looks bad. I actually feel like this one might look a little better than what the original pop looks like. I don't know why. I think it just, the nose and the teeth really stand out because the rest is Diamond Collection. So I'll give this one a pass. Then we have the Majin Buu Pop and Tea combo. This pop's all right. I'm a huge fan of Majin Buu. I always have been since I was a very small child. I don't think this is one of the best Majin Buu pops. It's definitely a cool one, but I really love that chocolate Buu. I still really want to get my hands on one of those. For some reason, I don't know what it is about it, but I hate this t-shirt. Normally, I would like this because it's pretty simple, but I feel like the Majin Buu lettering at the top of the shirt just doesn't need to be there. And I don't know, it's one of my least favorite pop and tea combos that I've seen in quite some time, I guess. And then we have D Generation X Triple H. This is pretty cool. But yeah, the first thing I thought when I seen it is, why is that hair so short? I think you're right. They should have pulled the hair back maybe, or just made it just a touch longer. Like, it doesn't need to be too much longer, but just a little bit longer, maybe even just longer in the back, just to really give it that Triple H feel. But this is really cool, and I'm super pumped to see Shawn Michaels because I could just imagine they would have to do one, and if they don't, it's a really missed opportunity. And I'm just really hoping that they do a good job on kind of that I don't know exactly what it'd be called. Kind of like a tank top that doesn't have sides to it that he kind of wore. And I think it would look good. I don't know why this isn't a 2-pack, but it's a cool pop and I'm going to try to pick it up. And then we have that OG Hawkeye, and this is cool. I really enjoy this pop. If I collected Marvel pops, I mean, I do have some Marvel pops that I thought were good, so I got them, but I don't really collect Marvel pops. I would add this to my collection because I think this is a solid pop, and I really like this version of Hawkeye compared to, let's say, Hawkeye in Avengers, where he kind of just looks like a dude, whereas this, he looks like a superhero, which is really cool. I enjoy this pop. Then the new wave of South Park. This is really great. And I kind of feel it's probably long awaited for a lot of South Park fans. So I guess I'll start off with PC Principal and the South Park Elementary Pop Towns. This is awesome. I'm really glad that we're seeing a PC Principal, and it only makes sense to have South Park Elementary as the pop town, I guess, for South Park. But I feel like PC Principal should have been its own pop, and it should have been Mr. Mackey that came with South Park Elementary. Obviously, we already got Mr. Garrison as a specialty series pop, I believe is what that was. But I feel like Mr. Mackey should have been with the school, but it's cool to have PC Principal as well. And then we have the 4 pops from the Stick of Truth is what it is called. And I believe it's an episode, but it's also a game. I've played that game and goddamn is it fun. I really enjoyed that game. And these pops are great. I will definitely be getting all 5 of these pops. I love the Cartman. I love Wizard Cartman like that. I think that's probably the best pop of this whole set, possibly even better than PC Principal, even though that is a really great pop. But that's just my opinion because I love that character and obviously I love Cartman. Then we have the guy, I forget what you said his name was, from the Everett Aqua Sox. And yeah, I mean, glow in the dark, okay. Like, it's an all right color to do glow in the dark, but it's so small. And also, like you said, where these are pops that they're giving away. So, like, I feel like they're just cutting into their own profits or whatever by making a glow in the dark chase where they could have put that into something like, I don't know, making molds for small soldier pops, perhaps. I don't know. This is all right. I mean, I think I was enjoying Webley more than what I'm enjoying with this. So,
Are you looking for great pop protectors? Then look no further than popbox.ca. They have a variety of 4-inch and 6-inch protectors in different quantities. Do you want to get 10 protectors, 20? You can get even up to 250 pop protectors over on popbox.ca. And also use our promo code of Funko Popcast for 10% off of your entire purchase of pop protectors. The code is going on until supplies last. So go get your pop protector needs now over on popbox.ca. funkopops.ca using our code of FunkoPopcast to get 10% off and also free shipping over $75 in both Canada and the US with duty fees included.
And let me tell you guys, we're not just screwing around here. These are some great pop protectors. We own a multitude of these protectors. They are some of the best I've seen. Stop buying from EB Games. I'm not boycotting EB Games by any means, but their pop protectors are not as good. So again, use code FunkoPopcast for 10% off.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the Popapalooza reveals for day one, or essentially we actually have a early reveal plus day one, but we're adding it anyways, which, ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe that I'm finally going to be saying this on the podcast. June 29th, Funko had announced a set of Green Day Funko Pops, which this set we have ourselves Trey Cool, Mike Dirnt, and Billy Joe Armstrong, which the majority of these Popapalooza reveals are expected to release by the end of summer / early fall. So around August to October 2021. So I will say that right now. Then on the official day one of Popapalooza reveals on June 30th, we kick off with a pop of DJ Khaled, followed by a pop albums of Ozzy Osbourne's Diary of a Madman. Then we got a set of pops for the group Boys to Men, which we have Sean Stockman, Nathan Morris, and Wanya Morris, followed by pops for the band 21 Pilots, which we have Josh, Tyler, and then a 2-pack of Josh and Tyler that will be glow in the dark and will be a limited run on the 21 Pilots website. So it'll be exclusive to the 21 Pilots website, followed by a pop album of, and this is going to be a little hard to pronounce, of Ghosts Opus Eponymus, which will be exclusive to Hot Topic. Then we got pops of John Lennon, which we have 4 of them actually. We have John Lennon with Military Jacket, a John Lennon with Military Jacket silver metallic pop that will be exclusive to Entertainment Earth. And then we have a Funko Shop exclusive John Lennon, which has a 1-in-6 black and white chase. And then last but not least, for day one reveals is a pop album for Notorious B.I.G., more specifically for his album Life After Death. So kicking off with the Green Day Funko Pops, and yes, finally, we have Green Day Funko Pops. Through the 5+ years that I have been collecting Funko Pops, one of my most requested licensors was Green Day, my favorite band of all time, and we finally have Green Day Funko Pops. Now, if you guys also seen what would have been last Wednesday's video, I would have already done a separate video talking about the Green Day Pops, but I will kind of repeat some of the things that I talked about during that video. I'll start off with the Trey Cool. The tray is all right. I do like the kind of faux hawk formation, as I'm going to call it. That's one of his styles of hairs that he's had. But the one thing that I wish that Trey Cool would have had is an actual drum kit with his Funko Pop. And I think he's one of those drummers that deserves a drum kit because he's had so many different cool drum kits while playing with Green Day. And they've already done Funko Pops before of certain drummers with drum kits. I'm pretty sure it's the guy from the Police. And then I actually mentioned in the video, I couldn't remember the second one, but I think the second one I was mentioning was the Catman from Kiss, who also has a drum kit with his Funko Pop. But it's still a cool, Trey Cool pop. Mike Dirnt, still pretty cool. I like the way the guitar is, and I like the way they executed the hair with this. This is basically how Mike Dirnt had his hair at one point, where it was basically like dark brunette, basically close to black, and as high as it goes for spiky hair, it goes into blonde tips, which is how his hair once was. And then Billy Joe Armstrong, which I think is the pop I have the least amount of gripes for and is probably my favorite of this set. Not because he is the frontman of Green Day and he's probably the most well-known out of the 3 members, but it's just overall the pop looks excellent the way they did the kind of like messy, spiky hair that he has, the kind of eyeshadow that he has around his eyes. His guitar is almost spot on to his Gibson Les Paul Jr. that he would have had since the the American Idiot days, and he's wearing the attire that is almost like American Idiot, like where it is the red tie with the black dress shirt and the black pants, but doesn't have the Converse shoes. But that might also be because of a licensing issue, possibly with Converse, possibly. I don't exactly know. I know a lot of people commented and were saying, man, it would have been cool to have actual Dookie variants and have Billy Joe Armstrong with his guitar that he calls Blue. It would have been awesome. The boxes for these are the Dookie albums, and a lot of people don't like the fact that we have current Green Day pops, but we have 90s era boxes, which I don't mind that, honestly, because huge surprise that they did that for the box art. They could have went with like a generic look that kind of went with their like newest album, Father of All, but they went with the older style where essentially that's how they became famous in the early 90s with Dookie. The album, if you've seen it, is super detailed as it is. So for them to do that as the box art is awesome because there's not a lot of pops in the Rocks lineup that actually have that much detail in their box art. And I think it is one of, if not the best box arts I've seen for the Pop Rocks lineup. And I'm not being biased because Green Day is my favorite band. It's just a simple fact that the box art is absolutely amazing. And don't worry, guys. There's definitely going to be more Green Day pops in the future. I just know it. There definitely is going to be Dookie variants of Green Day. There's so much untapped potential for pop albums that they can do. They can do Dookie. They can even do some of those earlier albums that can be pulled off, even different variants of the band members that they can decide, hey, let's do a pop album with that, like maybe American Idiot, because all it is a hand holding a grenade heart. They can just add a different variant of one of the band members to that pop album, which I think would be really cool. So I can't wait for more Green Day pops. Then we got DJ Khaled, which obviously I'm not going to get this because I don't like his genre of music, but at least I know who this person is, unlike some of the choices that Funko has made in the past. The rapper who constantly says his name in every song that he does. He literally says, DJ Khaled, like every freaking song he does, every song. Ozzy Osbourne's Diary of a Madman in pop album form. This is absolutely wicked. I can't wait for more Ozzy Osbourne pop albums because Ozzy has had some amazing album covers. Some people were a little disappointed they didn't do Blizzard of Oz, and I unfortunately think that they aren't going to be making that as a pop album, mainly because for anyone that hasn't seen the album cover, in that album cover, Ozzy is holding a cross. And so I feel like Funko would be crossing boundaries with like Catholic religions by selling a product that has someone holding a cross in their collectibles. So I don't think there's going to be a chance that they ever do a Blizzard of Oz pop album, although there are so many classic songs. But there are also so many classic songs on Diary of a Madman also. I can't wait to get it. I am going to be getting this. This is awesome. And I can't wait for more pop albums for Ozzy, especially there's got to be Bark at the Moon at some point. And I'm sure they can pull off something else that I can't think of off the top of my head as an Ozzy Osbourne pop album. Boys to Men. I have no idea who Boys to Men is. I've heard of them because of the rumblings of, hey, we may have Boys to Men Funko Pops coming out soon. These are okay. I know there's a bit of hype, but there's not because I guess they're missing a member of the band or group, I should say, maybe. I don't know if it's a band or a group, but it looks like a group because they're all holding microphones and not instruments. Then we got 21 Pilots, which I don't listen to 21 Pilots all that much, but I know a lot of people have been requesting actual band members of 21 Pilots for a long time. We did get the Ned Funko Pop, I think, a year or two ago, and people were like, okay, that's cool. It goes with the chlorine video, but just overall, people want the band members. And we got Josh and Tyler, which the only reason I know of Josh is because he is married to one of my former celebrity crushes in Debbie Ryan. Either way, I think his overall design is pretty cool with what looks to be, I don't know if that's supposed to be a tattoo sleeve of like kind of like that tie-dye going on, or that's just like part of a shirt. I can't exactly tell, but it's pretty cool. And then I don't know what's going on with Tyler with his hands. A little thing I want to bring up, and I don't know how many people would have already figured this out by the time this podcast releases, but with the glow in the dark 2-pack, there is a bit of a fail. And it's not the fact that about the glow in the dark aspect. I mean, the glow in the dark aspect is all right. I mean, did it really need to be made? I don't really think so, unless maybe it has a significance to a music video. And probably that green will look nice with the Tyler pop. But on the box art, and I don't know if it's going to turn out this way on the actual box art when it releases, but it says pop animation and not pop rocks. But then the single pops do say pop rocks. So maybe it was a mishap. Who knows? We won't know until the pops actually release, which is available for pre-order, obviously, on the 21 Pilots website for that 2-pack to see whether it still says pop animation or is just a mishap when they made the glam shots. Then we have the Ghost Pop albums, which I'm not going to try and pronounce the name of that album again. This is all right. It kind of looks weird, but looks cool, mainly because for the face, they didn't make it like a popified face. They actually almost like took the actual photo of the character's face on the album and just kind of stretched it out and added to the Funko Pop instead of making it popified like the Linkin Park Hybrid Theory pop albums, where you can't really see the face on the actual album, but they made it so that's a little bit more popified and looks like an actual pop character for that pop albums, which I feel like they could have done for this. But then looking at it, it's like, how weird would it kind of look to have those pop eyes? I'm not surprised also that this is exclusive to Hot Topic, because I think every Ghost Funko Pop that Funko has made so far has been exclusive to Hot Topic, so might as well bring it over to Hot Topic. Then we have the John Lennon Funko Pops, which these are some pretty cool Funko Pops minus the silver metallic pop. The one with the military jacket is pretty cool, honestly. The common one, I should say. I love the whole outfit, and I love the way that the guitar is on this Funko Pop also. And even the glasses and how it looks to be translucent. You can see the eyes behind it. And then you have the silver metallic, which I will not say this is the worst silver metallic pop that they have done for the Rocks lineup, because they actually added a cool tie dye instead of just being essentially 2 shades of silver. And then the Funko Shop exclusives, I think these are okay. I know a lot of people are really liking these pops, but I'm like, I don't know what it is. These are okay. I know there are probably going to be people that are going to want this, especially wanting to try to get that chase. And I'm sure the chase will be a pretty penny at first on the secondary market. I think the common one is the best one. I'm not really a fan all that much of the exclusives, in my opinion. And last but not least, we have Notorious B.I.G.'s Life After Death pop albums, which I don't listen to Notorious B.I.G. at all. I don't listen to really the whole hip hop rap genre to begin with, but obviously I know of Notorious B.I.G. and what he has done for those genres and kind of laid the path for essentially some of the popular artists today in that genre. And I know that when the first pop album was announced with Ready to Die, that there were people commenting saying it would have been cool to have Life After Death. It looks pretty cool. I like the way that this Notorious B.I.G. looks. Obviously, I can't tell you, oh, this album has this song and this song. I'm sure it's a popular enough album into which there were some really, I guess, banger songs, I guess, on this album to be made into a pop album. And I'm sure that it's going to be a pretty decent seller.
Okay, like you said, we're finally talking about Green Day Pops, which is just so awesome. It's really really cool. It's a great time to be a Funko Pop collector, I guess, in that sense. We've been waiting for this for a long time, and I'm very glad that we now have Green Day Pops. Trey Cool, very, very cool. No pun intended. I like this pop. I think it really does look like Trey Cool. They executed the hair very well. The stance is pretty decent. I know that's kind of what most of the stances are for the drummer pops, or they kind of have their arms out like that, but it makes sense. And I think the attire looks good. Mike Dirnt, I think this is really well executed as well. I just think that I love how they did the hair, but I think maybe they could have just made it a little bit spikier on the top somehow, because it kind of just looks like any kind of hairstyle, I guess, like a common hairstyle, like maybe just like slicked back is kind of what it looks like rather than spiky hair. So if they just made it look a little bit more spiky, I think this pop would have been just amazing. And then we got Billy Joe. this is really great. This whole set's awesome, and I can't wait to get my hands on them. I'm sure DK agrees with me because I know he is very, very pumped about this. And I do agree with you is that there will be more Green Day pops. There's no doubt about it. Now that they have the license, why not do a bunch of versions? You can do Trey Cool with blue hair. That would be so awesome. There's so many things they could do, and I'm sure we will see. My guess is we'll see at least 4 versions of Billy Joe. I don't know about the other band members, but Billy Joe in general, I could see at least 4 versions being made. DJ Khaled, we the best music. Another one. This is pretty sweet. I was pretty pumped to see this. This is something that I didn't really expect, and I'm glad to see it. DJ Khaled is not a rapper, though, to correct you. I mean, the first part of his name should kind of tell you what he is. He's like a DJ in a sense. He like produces beats, I believe. So basically, whenever you hear that in the beginning of a song, that's because that's his like DJ, what do they call it? Tag. Whereas like there's a bunch of different tags that DJs use, and it always comes in the beginning of rap songs. So this is cool. I like how it says "We the best" on his hoodie. I think that makes a lot of sense. He's got his pointer finger pointing up. I don't know. I don't think they could have done a better job on this pop, really. I think this is just, I don't really have any arguments about it. And I'm really glad that somehow they were able to use the Air Jordan logo. Obviously, they do have the license to Michael Jordan and I guess Air Jordan as well for that sense. But I'm just glad that they did it because they could have just not did it and that would have been fine. But they did add the logo on there, which is really, really cool. And I will definitely be buying this pop. Then we have Diary of a Madman. This is really cool. My only gripe about it is that I think the pop itself kind of looks like Bill Murray's pop from Zombieland. The face is just a little too gray, perhaps. If they could have made it just a little closer to flesh tone, like because obviously it's paint that he has on the album cover and the music videos and stuff, but I just think they overdid it a little bit, but it still looks great. And I think that maybe they could do Blizzard of Oz with the cross. I know it's kind of a little bit controversial, but I believe some of the Ghost Pops potentially had a cross in their hand. And if you look at the album cover itself, there's an inverted cross right on the album cover. So, I mean, that just is like Satanism, I guess, at that point. So, I think they could do it, and I think it would be all right. And I'd be glad to see that. Boys to Men, this is neat. I definitely could see a lot of people really wanting this. They are a boy band. And yes, there is one band member missing, which I know some people are definitely not very happy about. But at the same time, I don't know why. It could have been maybe they couldn't get the license for that. That person or their family did not want this to happen or whatever. Maybe I don't know everything about Boys to Men. I do know a couple of their songs, but these 3 pops are all right. I think they're very similar. Each pop to itself is very similar, but they're a little bit different at the same time. And obviously, being a boy band, most of the time, like it is mostly similar people, kind of like a string quartet. Then we have 21 Pilots. This is great. I know a lot of people definitely did want 21 Pilots, and now we have it. I still haven't got my hands on that Ned. I really want that. These I do want, but I think I want the net a little bit more than these for whatever reason. It's cool though, and then we have that 2-pack, which is also decent. The glow in the dark's cool, and I mean, I guess you kind of get a different version of each of them by getting the glow in the dark, which is all right. I think that we could potentially see more versions of 21 Pilots. Then we have the Ghost Pop albums of Opus Eponymous, I believe is how it's pronounced. I could be completely wrong, but I believe that's the pronunciation. I have some gripes about this. I think it's cool that they went with the first album, but the pop itself, I mean, I would have to assume it's going to be a translucent pop. I mean, that's kind of what it looks like by this glam shot. But it's kind of like what I said on, I believe it was the last podcast with the art series Mickey Mouse with the trains on them, where they just took that face and, like you said, smushed it, and it looks like a tattoo that just went really bad over the years and just didn't stick to the skin well. Another thing that's weird about it is if you look at the album itself, the hand placements are so high up in the air, and obviously they can't do that with a Funko Pop because the heads on Funko Pops are so big. But for that reason, it just makes it look very childish, kind of cartoony. I don't know. I will probably get this because I do plan on getting all of the pop albums at one point, so I will probably have to buy this. But I could probably say at this time, this is my least favorite pop albums. Then we have the John Lennons. These are all right. The first thing I will say is that instead of getting all of this, I would actually take none of this. I would prefer just 2 pops And those two pops would be a very simplistic version of John Lennon. And then even if it was a two pack with Yoko Ono, I think that would have been great. But I bet probably Funko can't get the licensing for Yoko Ono, and that's probably why it hasn't been done. But if they could, definitely do that, because that would be a lot cooler than these pops. Nothing against these pops, because they're all right, but I just think it would be a lot more iconic if we seen John Lennon with Yoko Ono. And then we have Notorious B.I.G. Life After Death. This is cool. I enjoy this, but at the same time, I do think it is an album that needs to be done, but there's so many iconic albums that could be done. And now Notorious B.I.G. has his second pop albums, which is kind of like, okay, yeah, sure. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me being like wishful thinking for some Kiss pop albums, and even a Green Day pop album would be awesome. Let's see Dookie, like you said, the Dookie album with that version of Billy Joe. That would be so cool. But nothing against this one, because that is a great album, and I think it was pretty well executed. It's definitely better than the Ghost album, that's for sure.
All right, so now we're going to move on to our segment, The Update, which those brand new to the podcast. The Update is the segment where essentially it says in the title, we update our top 10 list from the week prior, since we are officially over and done with June 2021. And as of next week, we will be talking about July 2021 Funko Pops, which include day 2 of Popapalooza Reveals. So without further ado, like usual, we will kick off with what pops MD Shady has added to his top 10 list. And of course, if you want to watch last week's podcast on our original top 10 list and kind of go off that, click the little suggestion thingy above, or the eye, or whatever it's called, to go view that podcast after this one.
All right. Yes, we will start off with me, obviously. And at number 10, and my number 10 has now changed to DJ Khaled. Like I said, I didn't really have any gripes with that pop. It's just, it was made well, and they kind of went above and beyond by putting in that Air Jordan logo on the shoes. Then my number 8 has changed to the pop album's Diary of a Madman. I think it potentially would have went higher, besides the fact that I talked about how the face just seemed a little too gray to me, but I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. Then coming in at number 7, I have Mike Dirnt. This was, spoiler alert, my least favorite of the 3 pops, even though I think it was done well. I just think that the other 2 were done very exceptionally, whereas the spiky hair thing, just that made it my least favorite. Then number 6 is Trey Cool. Like I said, they did a really good job with that. The attire looks nice. The hair looks good. The pose is all right. And I look at that and I go, yep, that's Trey Cool. And I mean, that's what you kind of want out of a pop, especially when, like we say, it is kind of just a human pop. And then last but not least, coming in at number 5, I have Billy Joe Armstrong. This is really cool, and I'm sure we will see more versions of Billy Joe that I will end up probably liking better than this one. But so far with what we got, this is awesome.
Alrighty, so now going on to my updated list. Coming in at number 10 is the Walmart exclusive glow in the dark Sylvie from Low Key. Reason it made the list is because I think the detail is pretty great with this glow in the dark variant. There's a lot of hype considering that it's sold out on the Walmart website. And I think personally I'm enjoying the show low key, but it's low because I, of course, think that there were a lot better pops this month. Coming in at number 8, it is the John Lennon with the military jacket. And I think this pop is a very detailed looking pop, like I mentioned. And I think it's the better out of the 4 that have been made here for this set. But of course, I feel like there are definitely way more pops that are better, in my opinion, than this one more specifically. Coming in at number 4, it is the Diary of a Madman pop albums. This is a cool looking pop album, but I think also MD did nail some points there on the coffin where the face does look more like that Zombieland Bill Murray now as I look at it more. However, Diary of a Madman, such an iconic album. I can easily listen to that album front and back, no problem. The pop is, for the most part, really, really cool. And I know for a fact there definitely has to be more Ozzy Osbourne pop albums on the way. And coming in at number 2, it is Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day. Now, I really debated on pulling off what you did and add all 3 band members in 3 different spots on the list, but I decided to only choose one, and I thought it was perfect to choose Billy Joe Armstrong. And I debated for hours on whether I was going to make this my number 1 pick or not, just because I've been wanting Green Day pops for so many years. However, like MD mentioned, there definitely probably will be more Billy Joe Armstrongs and even better Billy Joe Armstrongs in the future. So maybe those would eventually be number 1 on the list. And of course, if you listened to last week's podcast and you heard our number 1 picks, there's more detail with that pop per se than there is with this Billy Joe Armstrong, and a little bit more hype, of course, because of the fandom that our number 1, which is still number 1, is involved with, which is why Billy Joe Armstrong is at number 2 overall, although in my heart, it is my favorite pop this month. Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of this week's podcast. If you enjoyed this week's podcast, make sure you smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, and let us know what your favorite pops were for at least Popapalooza Day 1. Press the subscribe button for more content like this podcast and any other videos we do on this channel in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at a Funko Popcast. It'll be listed in the description below. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening to this week's podcast, and we hope to see you guys next week on a Funko Popcast. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
I'm the son of Rage and Love, the Jesus of Suburbia. Peace in, peace out.